All right, welcome to the Fantasy Six Pack Network. My name is Joe Bond, founder of FantasySixPack.net. With me tonight, going over waiver wire ads for Week 14 is Corey Pieper. What's going on, man?
Not much. Good week of football for me. I don't know about yourself, but I had
Hit or
a
miss?
I had a pretty good one this week. So
Well,
maybe
yeah.
just...
I mean, you're number one at Scott Fishbowl right now, so yeah, pretty damn
Yeah.
good week.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure we all know that one.
Thank you. Yes. I am currently number one. A lot can change. You're going to move on? I didn't check. I haven't looked forward. Are you moving on too?
If unless there's a huge night from like a bunch of people, I'm probably going to move on, but me getting into
Cleveland and Denver, I don't think we're getting some huge nights.
Me getting into the round after that is going to be, I need a big week. And I'm going to be losing Jaden Daniels on the bye. And I'm pretty sure, actually, I don't have a lot of other bye week players, which might save me. And my third quarterback, which I thought was going to be dead in the water early in the year, is Bryce Young. He's looking solid, like viable option at this point now, right? Yeah. And so it's like,
you might have a chance.
I got a chance.
Oh, yeah. You got a chance here.
So
we never give up.
Yeah, I'm hoping things go well here, but we're going to be jumping into the waiver wire here, and to give everybody a little bit more. I forgot to present. Obviously, there's always something, but to give everybody some more options here to help them with the rest of their season here, and we got first up. Oh no, never mind. Not Jordan Mason.
So close.
Left that one in there on purpose. Maybe. I think Guerendo. He is now the new man in San Fran.
Yeah, he is. So if you weren't watching last night's snow game against Buffalo, Christian McCaffrey looked as good as he's looked all year, honestly. He looked very good.
Oh, yes.
And then he got tackled from behind, hit kind of weird. The next play goes down on a non-contact injury. Look, you're scared. Anybody who watched it was scary. And we got the confirmation that it flashed bright, but we're already done with Christian McCaffrey for the year. I only had one share this year. It sucks. And here's the worst part. So in the league where I had Christian McCaffrey about a month ago, after his hot start, someone dropped Jordan Mason, and I said, I'm going to spend I think I spent $70 out of maybe $1,000 in a fab, and I'm just like, I'm going to make sure I have him just in case. And last night, Jordan Mason looked good. Christian McCaffrey goes down. Jordan Mason, 13 carries for 78 yards. I noticed he was out later in the game, but it was a blowout, so I wasn't overly concerned about it. And then wrote the waiver wire, sent it into you, felt good about it. And then suddenly, nope, Christian McCaffrey's going on the injured reserve. Jordan Mason's going on the injured reserve.
Yeah,
and that's brutal.
Had a little change of heart here with the title,
and that's
had
my
to do
guy
some fun
right
stuff with it. Pretty fun.
I love it. It's so good, but it is. He's got it right there. It is Isaac Guerendo time. This is a possible league winner who's. Do we get the rostership? I'm assuming it's less than 5% rostered, and
it is 5%. I looked on Sleeper.
5%. Okay,
I had to edit the article for you.
Essentially, he's available everywhere.
Yep,
we've seen it. You got it up week 8 there. That was the week. I think Jordan Mason started that week and left early, or was Mason out that week? And that was week 6, something like that.
These were the only games that he had like enough touches to matter. His season average, though, I'm only going to say this instead of you because I know I did a little bit more of the research on him. He has a 5.9 yards per carry. Now, granted, small sample size, but that just tells me he's like able to fit into this system, which a lot of running backs can. So I think he's going to be fine. So we knew Jordan Mason was not a PPR back, right? He wasn't a pass catching back. He was irrelevant in that he had like the most targets he had in any game, I think, was 2. Mm-hmm. In weeks 6 and 13 for Guerendo here, we're seeing it. So scratch that actually. Guerendo outside of week 8 had no more than 1 target each. He had one other game where he had 1 target, but he just wasn't on the field, right?
Yeah.
That game in week 8, I believe, was one that Mason left early and Guerendo had to fill in. So he saw a lot more work. Him seeing 4 targets in that game sort of gives me pause like, oh, well, maybe they trust him more in the passing game than they do Mason. I don't know. Like, I think this offense is going going to completely change now without Mason and CMC, honestly. It's been struggling hard. I kind of wonder, like, are we going to get, like, Debo back to being Debo and just getting, 5, 6, 7 carries a game? Like, I wouldn't. Everybody's like, oh, who's their fourth running back? Well, guess what, guys? They don't have one. They're going to have to go get one, obviously. But they don't have anybody right now. So right now is Isaac Guerendo, and that's it. They're going to have to go sign somebody or bring somebody up off their practice squad. It's very interesting what the 49ers have done here with their running back situation, considering they were dealing with a very injured Christian McCaffrey. Albert, what's up, man? By the way, you were not first. First time ever, man. Chad here jumped in. The saddest is immeasurable. My day is ruined. Betting going bad. Season long is a disaster. Man, I'm sorry, man. Go I don't know. Go find something that makes you happy, because this is the saddest message we've ever gotten.
Sorry, go hug somebody,
Chad.
buddy. Go hug
get a hug.
Yeah.
All right, man. So yeah, Isaac Guerendo is the guy. I mean, legit, man. Like, how much are your fab? I mean, it's week 14. How much are you fab going in on this guy?
I mean, I think you can go all in at this point. If you need a running back, if you need a running back, you got buy issues. You're not going to get a better option getting this late in the year, I don't think. So whatever you got, go for it.
Yeah,
brother. Sometime I will do that.
I'm probably all in on any league he's available outside of maybe one. I'm pretty loaded at running back, and I'm not sure I want to blow my remaining like $14 on him.
Yeah, if you don't need a running back, sure, then hold off. But if
I've got like 5 or 6 good running backs, for some reason I couldn't trade in that league.
Humble brag here, man.
Well, my receivers suck, so
okay.
I was trying to trade anybody for a receiver, and everybody's like, no, my receivers suck, and I was like, I know everybody suck right now, so can you help me out? Not working. All right, Tank Bigsby, man. Next one up. I was shocked when you put him in the waiver wire article, but he did drop below your 50% threshold here. So
here's my thinking on Tank Bigsby. And when I saw it, I thought, okay, just coming off of volume. Okay, we needed an injury to get Isaac Guerendo on this list, or else he's a non-factor. You don't even need an injury, and I can easily craft an argument for Tank Bigsby to get 15 touches a week. And I've said that's my threshold for being fantasy relevant here. So he missed. He had a bye. He was dealing with, I think it was an ankle injury. He came back yesterday. He took 7 carries, which isn't great, for 28 yards, and then he caught a pass for 7. But they were also down big. They fell down 23-6 early in the fourth quarter. So that's where you're going to get ETN on the field more. Trevor Lawrence got injured. I think this team leans on the run more. I think they wanted the Titans are coming up, which is a tough matchup, but I think they're just going to try to run the ball more, and I think there's a chance we get 15 touches out of Tank Bigsby a couple of these weeks going forward here, and he just barely fell below the threshold, but I think we can get back above that threshold here. I think that any running back that's giving me that type of volume is someone that interests me, and Tank Bigsby can get there without any major changes ahead of him. So.
Yeah, no, I like Bigsby. Not a great offense, and it may not be,
I was impressed with Mac Jones yesterday.
I was too. Yeah, he was slinging it. I mean, I feel like we saw games like that from Mac Jones in the past, and then it's kind of like, meh. Then he turns back into Mac Jones. Like, it's just not good. But I mean, come on, we even had a few games of Mac Jones already this year with the Jags, and it was already horrible. So, but yeah, I mean, yesterday was good. But I mean, like, when you got to throw the ball, however many times he had to throw it. Even after coming in midway through the game, I mean, almost anybody can put up points usually. So my reservations are with that whole passing attack. However, you've got Mr. Parker Washington on here. Week 13 saw a career high 12 targets.
It's the best game he's ever had, right? So we're going back-to-back Jaguars here. And Parker Washington, you've got the stats there, the 6 catches, 103 and a touchdown. There was a stretch earlier in the year where Parker Washington, I think it was right after maybe Christian Kirk got hurt, that Parker Washington I think I put him in the best of the rest recommendations. Nothing really happened. Evan Ingram and Brian Thomas kind of dominated. He had a couple of weeks where he had about 45 yards receiving on like 4 catches. So it was interesting, but that was a great game yesterday. Anybody who gets 12 targets is interesting to me now. Against Titans, you're playing with Mac Jones. Do I want to start Parker Washington? Probably not. But Chad's got it down there. We've already mentioned it a couple times. You're in Bipocalypse down here. If I'm missing Terry, if I'm missing Zay, if I'm missing Nico Collins, and I need to play somebody, hey, if you give me the guy who's coming off of a 100-yard game with a touchdown, I'll play that. That's a wide receiver 3 this week.
Yeah. I'm looking at this list here, and I know there's more names, obviously, but I'm looking at this list and realizing that I've got a few teams that I think are pretty much in the playoffs, but I'm not going to be improving my seed. That's for damn sure, because I'm going to be obliterated by injuries.
I hate that they did it this late. I hate that they gave us this one this late in the year. It's so tough.
There was that one random week that there was no buys. I get the Thanksgiving week, but why? The one, I think it was like week 8 or whatever it was. It was like, why? Why is there no buys? Let's be done with it at Thanksgiving. Just be done. Let everybody play through.
Yeah.
That one made absolutely no sense. And I would love to hear the NFL tell us why that they had to do that. Because to me, it just doesn't make any sense. But
no.
As fantasy football people will complain. The NFL does not care one bit. Next up here, Adam Thielen of the Carolina Panthers. Second week back from his injury. I realize this says week 12 still. My bad. It's supposed to be week 13. Looking good, man. We were just talking about Bryce Young.
Yeah, off the air,
better.
Off the air, we were talking Bryce Young. I got it in the article. Bryce Young has had 3 games in his career where he threw for over 250 yards, and 2 of them are the last 2 weeks. So he's clearly starting to feel more comfortable after that mini benching, I guess. And going into the year, I like Bryce Young. I thought Dave Canales was going to come in here, going to turn it around, and I'm starting to get interested again here. And this is 2 weeks in a row we've had a Panthers receiver on the waiver wire. David Moore, actually, I think he had 9 targets again yesterday. It didn't quite deliver, but it was 4 for 50. I think Leggett was in the same basic range. He's been on here before. But we know what Adam Thielen is. He's been good for a long time, or usable for fantasy. If he gets 10 targets a game, he's gonna deliver fantasy performances. He just missed another touchdown that was ruled an incomplete pass, which I think was probably caught, but that would have made a massive game out of this. Another one, I think, between Adam Thielen and Parker Washington, if I have to play one next week, I don't know the matchups, but I think I'd probably go with Adam Thielen over Parker Washington.
I think I would too. I'm actually looking up the matchups right now. I just feel like that was kind of one and the same thing.
Yep.
So Parker Washington, you said the Titans, that was right. Carolina gets the Eagles. Whew, that's actually pretty rough.
Yeah, that is a tough one.
That's a tough one. The Titans have not been great against the pass. So maybe
We're gonna be close. You're the expert ranker here. I'll take the lead in Scott Fishbowl. You're the expert ranker here. So check Joe's rankings in the middle of the week.
Yeah, I'll have to do some digging into that one. Jamie over here, pounding this chest saying he was on Parker Washington before the draft. Yeah, I mean, at the same time though, like he hasn't done a whole
lot in the first 20 games of his career. So,
yeah.
but yeah, take the dubs.
Take the victory lap when you can, man.
That's right.
All right, next up here, Jonathon Brooks, a guy who I said in my usage article last week, it might be time to drop this dude. You're back on. I'll be honest with you, man. I'm not seeing it still.
Ooh, okay. Let's talk it up here. So this is the first time I could ever talk about Jonathon Brooks, because I think this is the first time people listen to you, dropped him, and got below 50%. Look, after that first week, you held out so long and you got 2 carries, and I can understand why you dropped him. This week, the touches go up. He had all the targets. I don't believe Chuba Hubbard got a single target in that game at running back. That interests me right off the top. And then, okay, look, if you've had Chuba Hubbard and you've rode him this far, he's been awesome. 100% from where you drafted him, the return that you got on that investment was great. But he fumbled the game away in overtime. And I saw Tyrone Tracy fumble the ball and stop getting the ball as much as we wanted him to get from. And so Devin Singletary has been stepping in. And I just think we expected Jonathon Brooks to get more involved with the offense as it went along. And I think he showed yesterday that the Panthers want him to do that. So he went from 2 carries to 9 touches. Can we get 12? Can we get 15? I don't know if we'll get to 15, but I think we could get 12 next week, somewhere in that range. I'm back in. Once again, I don't know if I want to start him without all the buys, but I want him on my bench at this point, just in case.
Yeah, bench stash, again, handcuffs. We've talked about that for a few weeks now at this point in the season, especially, playoffs are literally right here. I will say this. We're talking you want 12, 15 touches. He was on the field for 15 plays last game.
Yeah, I didn't check the snap count. Yep.
Hubbard had 55 the week before.
Part of that's overtime. Part of that's overtime, right? So they're on the field a lot. Yep.
Yeah, so it's just I'm trying to think that were they were down. Oh no, they were in the lead.
They had the lead.
They had the lead.
Baker brought him back, got that late field goal from Chase McLaughlin.
Yeah, it's weird because they had the lead, but then they just kept passing the ball.
Hey, when you got Bryce Young, man, we just talked.
Yes,
you gotta
however you
46 pass attempts for Bryce Young yesterday.
Yeah,
I wonder if that's a career high.
Crazy for a team who had the lead for the majority of that game, up until late fourth quarter. So, yeah, I'm still pretty hesitant. I need to see him get more playing time before I'm gonna trust it.
Sure.
So, last but not least, man, Nick Westbrook-Ikhine.
I got to bring him up finally. He has been
on
the best of the rest recommendations if you join the Fantasy Six Pack for a month. I think I've had him down there, and I keep saying, nah, it's just the touchdowns aren't going to come. The touchdowns aren't going to come. And he just keeps delivering the touchdowns. And then yesterday, 8 targets. It's the most he's gotten in a game this season. He doubles it up with the touchdowns, 61 receiving yards, I believe, in a touchdown, or 2 touchdowns, which led the Titans. And 8 targets is really what's starting to interest me here. So when it was, he was getting 3 targets, he was catching 1 for 21 yards and a touchdown. I think he had one game where he caught 98 yards on 1 touchdown reception he had earlier this year. But he's 5th in the NFL in touchdowns at this point. He's behind George Kittle, Jamar Chase, the who's who of players here. And that's fluky, right? So I feel like I'm going to recommend him. The touchdowns are going to stop, but he just keeps delivering it. And if he's starting to get more action here, another one. We talked about Bryce Young looking better. Will Levis looks better. Will Levis looks better too. And here's the other part about this. We're talking about how the Jaguars get to play the Titans. The Titans get to play the Jaguars. Right. And that is twice yet. 2 more times in the next month they play the Jaguars. So
yeah, that's true.
If you're going to take a chance on him, now's the time.
I would still like to see more receptions from him, but I get it, man. The targets are starting to go up, so it's at least the opportunity is higher, is greater than it was before. Because you're right. He was catching 2 out of 4, 3 out of 3, 1 out of 2. He wasn't getting any work, and now it's 6, 5, and 8 targets the last 3 games. He still needs to catch more of them. I don't know if they're not catchable balls. I haven't looked into it enough because I wasn't really interested. I was just he's all touchdowns, and he still is. When you look at a guy who's got 8 touchdowns off of 20 receptions, that's absolutely insane.
So let's talk about him compared to a guy who's been on here a couple times who caught another touchdown yesterday. Nick Westbrook-Ikhine or MVS?
I don't want either one.
They're the same base.
They are. They're this. I know they're the same player. I'll take NWI at this point.
Yeah, I will too.
He's got a little bit. I know he's got a nice schedule, so at least there's that.
He's got the schedule. He's getting more targets than MVS. MVS caught another touchdown yesterday. I think it was 2. I think it was 2 for 29, and he's on the best of the rest again. But I never overly have loved that recommendation ever either. But we had 6 guys here, and so he was on here, and he keeps delivering. And I think that's where we're at here with NWI is he just keeps delivering. And now we like the schedule coming up. Yeah. This is the time. If you're going to pick him up and play him, do it now.
Yeah, literally right before the show kicked off, I saw a message on Blue Sky from Kevin Tompkins from Where is he now? Fantasy Alarm? No. Fantasy Frames. Sorry. And he was like, all right, I finally broke down. I put Nick Westbrook-Ikhine in my waiver wire article. And I was like, us too. Just in time for him to not score a touchdown. Like, you know what's going to happen.
I'm just so ready for it to happen, and I'm just going to hate every minute of it. But I have a feeling.
Yeah. All right, Corey. Well, that's it for our offensive waiver options here. Thanks for jumping in. And before we let you go and we bring on Steve for our IDP part of the show, let everybody know where they can find you and what we got going on the rest of the year.
I'm on the Twitter in the blue sky at COPIEPS, doing the waiver wire every week, doing other things here, starting to get ready for baseball. Tomorrow night, I will be on with Steve on one of his shows. You can check out Steve, see me again. I'll be, I think it's for RPO or something like that. So you can find me there as well, too.
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah, man. It's good to see you. Right. See you next week.
See you, man.
Thanks, everybody.
And, yeah. Oop, Steve is gone, so I'm riding solo for a second. I don't know what just happened to him. So, yeah, we're going to hang out here for a second. See if I can figure out what's going on with him. See if he's having some technical difficulties. But yeah. So the
jump in.
Maybe I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Okay.
Jamie, speaking of SFB 14, I'm pretty sure finished 60. Yeah. I don't know if we've got the most. I know we had a lot, but I know we've got at least 6 or 7 advancing. We got a couple of us, Corey, Keith Fleming. In the top 10 or 5 even. I think Keith is in the top 5 pending tonight's game. I want to say, Jamie, you're in the top 100 or pretty close to that, right? And then who else is right up there? I mean, we got a bunch of guys that we got a bunch of guys that are like really, Mike LaPlante jumped into the top 100. He has had like 3 massive weeks in a row.
Do we know who he's going with? Who's he riding?
I'm not totally sure actually, but yeah, he's been doing very, very well the last 3 weeks. And
so for those of you who don't remember, I put in the Discord here a question of last Thursday between Tyrone Tracy and Terry McLaurin. Who do I start? And my guy here, Joe Bond, throws out the message, and I literally LOL'd at this. He's just like, dude, if that's your last decision, I'm so screwed. I just died of laughter. I just died of laughter because
there's no chance, dude. I don't stand a chance. When you got a team like that, that's just absolutely nuts. But all right, Steve looks like he's back. Hopefully, we've got the technical difficulties figured out here. So let me bring him in. And Corey, thanks for jumping on filling the time.
Yeah, man. Take care.
Right. Steve, what's going on, man? So we're gonna jump in. We're gonna jump in here and get right to the IDP waivers. And Mr. DeMarvion Overshown. This is a guy, man. You talked to me in the preseason about this guy. And when I saw him score the touchdown at Thanksgiving, I was like, hey, I know who that guy is. It's kind of cool.
I was laughing because I'm like, Joe wants to be an IDP guy so bad. He's in the chat. He's tweeting people. It was so neat to see that, Joe. It's like he wants you have the ability to do it. You know what I mean? So I just love seeing that, Joe. You know, you're opening your horizons for the other side of the football.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying to show some love at least. But all right, what do we got about this guy, man?
So this guy's available in 9% of leagues, and it's funny because playoffs are getting ready to start, and I couldn't really, figure out why that was. But when you break it down, I think casual owners are a little bit shy of this guy because he's the LB2 in his own team. Behind Eric Kendricks, who's a former All-Pro, and he's leading the league in tackles. Mm-hmm. But I assure you, there's nothing about DeMarvion Overshown that is second fiddle. You've seen the stats this week. They're on the screen, but let me just tell you a little bit about him. 84 tackles on the season, 54 being solos, 5 sacks. That's better than LB2 numbers. In fact, that would be ranked 10th in the NFC in total tackles and 8th in the NFC in solo tackles. Those stats are in the conversation. Arguably, now I say arguably, he can make a strong case to be a Pro Bowl selection. But I don't think it's going to happen because you know how they are. They're very biased.
Yeah.
They're very snobbish when it comes to teams that aren't doing very good. So he's not getting the recognition he deserves. But somebody out there who's listening is going to be able to pick him up because people are foolishly discrediting him.
Yeah. I mean, those sound like pretty good numbers to me. I mean, I don't play IDP, but I mean, when you're talking like top, 20-ish numbers for overall linebackers, like something's got to give, right?
He's been doing this all season too. Like he's been in our waiver columns, and now this week he just happened to blow up Thanksgiving Day, so he's got good attention.
I didn't realize how like long and lanky he is, man. Like I saw him and I was like, holy cow, that man is huge, but he's like kind of skinny too. Like kind of like he needs to get if he had some weight, man, that dude's gonna be a hoss. That dude's gonna be a monster.
When we profiled him his rookie season 2 years ago, everybody in Texas knows him. He was like a Texas, all pro, all star, whatever. People knew him, but the rest of the community did, and then he got hurt. So he's kind of a sneaky buy right now. I'm not going to say you can start him everywhere, but he's probably like the LB20 conversation, LB2. So if you're in a big enough format, you can get away with it, much like this next guy.
Yeah. All right. So Kenneth Murray of the Titans here. So I just threw up his entire 2024 season snap counts here, and pretty impressive stuff.
What's funny here, Joe, is all right, Kenneth Murray. Why the heck isn't he owned? He's got impressive stats. He's got great tackles. He's 100% every down linebacker almost every week. He leads the team in tackles, and then the year before, the team he was on was the Chargers, and he led that team in tackles. So the question remains, how the heck is he still on waivers? Well, I'm going to tell you, only owned in 12% of leagues now. He's really not a great football player, so I'm not really selling this guy. Literally, when you watch games, you'll see him getting drugged down the field, but guess what? He still makes tackles. Jack Gibbons isn't there anymore. There isn't anybody else to get in his way. So, a lot of times volume is key in IDP, especially if there's nobody else there. But this guy's really a bad player. I remember, I think it was 2 years ago now. Yeah, he was like ranked 74th out of like 81 linebackers. And I think last year there was one point he was in the 20s graded. I mean, he's not that great of a player, but you don't need that when you're putting up pinball stats like this. So you can get him everywhere. You can get away with him as a flex play every single week. If you're in the playoffs and you're going in and it's the final countdown, if you will, you might as well go get your player.
Loved that article, man. Love trying to come up with the subtitles to match your article. It's so fun.
For people that don't know, I did an article on waivers, but we kind of chiseled it to the great Europe one-hit wonder of the 80s. We chiseled it to the final countdown. The 80s song. So yeah, you'll get a lot of good dad jokes in there if you check out the article.
Hell yeah, man. Had to do it.
We get bored sometimes, right?
But man, it's week 14, man. You got to do something to keep it interesting.
Especially when it gets tricky.
Oh, it does. It gets real dry at the end.
Are they going to be able to produce?
Offense is getting lucky, man. We got Isaac Guerendo hanging around, and so we're like, oh. Like we got one, but the rest of them are like, all right. Leonard Williams, man, what do we got? What we got?
So Leonard Williams is an interesting one because everybody's seen the 97-yard interception return for a touchdown. He's one of these guys every week, Joe. He'll get you nothing, and all of a sudden he'll get a 3-sack performance. So he's one of those great DLs you can stick in, like, best ball leagues or even that big play, big three scoring. This guy's pretty damn nimble for a 300-pound man. He was part of the Jets rebuild before they rebuilt, before that rebuilt, the other rebuilt. He was part of it way back when they had Todd Bowles as a coach, back in 2015. And he was a prospect, and I guess he just ran out of time. He's a 30-year-old defensive lineman who comes and goes. His scoring comes and goes. The reason I have him on here right now, because you can get him pretty much anywhere, is the ultimate bingo card, especially if you need a second defensive lineman. This guy put up 2 sacks this week. The interception. I'm not going to go over that. He put up 2.5 the week before. So 2-game stretch, he's putting together 4.5 sacks and a bunch of other, good stats. And the best thing to me when I read the tea leaves, snap count. He's close-ish. He's close enough to that 70% mark that I think you can play him. You can get away with this guy in most formats.
All right. Sounds good, man. Tyler Nubin, and I took a shot from your box snap count article.
Yes.
That you do over on Fantasy Six Pack as well. The second week in a row you've done it. It's a brand new article, but this stuff is fantastic. Let me know what this is all about.
Yeah, it's neat because as you know, there's a spot within in scrimmage yards. They call them the box snap. So the safety gets to cheat up a little bit. When you have teams that cheat up with their safety, that's like an extra linebacker in the field. So it's a cheat code if you're playing in tackle premium leagues, which we all do. Joe, you're in for a treat this week. It's almost finished. I almost got it together. Been writing over here. My thumbs are about to fall off. There's one team that has 2 box safeties, and they keep rotating. So there's that's going to be a little surprise for the audience. But we'll talk about Nubin right now. This is something we picked up on last week. Earlier in his rookie season, earlier this year, I'm going to say the first 6 games, they were playing him more out free. Then all of a sudden, week 7 through week 12, there was a bye week in there. So there's only 5 games of body work. All of a sudden, they started putting him in the box for 157 snaps, 31.4% average. So every week you're getting this guy. He's playing more meaningful snaps as some linebackers don't on some teams. You're going to get him super cheap, and I'm happy to report this. A lot of my waiver finds are dart throws or later or start him. This guy is a tier 1 moving forward. He's a top 12 player. You can play him everywhere if you need a DB.
Yeah, and I loved the tweet here that you included from NFL Draft Files. Prime Camp Chancellor. By the way, go Hokies. That dude's a monster. Probably one of the last super hard hitting safeties we're ever gonna have because they don't allow people to do that anymore.
Right.
But dude, he would wreck people. Jamie over here. Nubin is a beast. I wrote him up in the Fantasy Six Pack rookie review. Yeah, man. So apparently we've been all over him. So
can we talk about the phenomenal articles that Jamie writes over there for us?
Dude, I love them. I had ideas to try to make the cornerback receiver one a little more beefy this year. We just never got around to it. So hopefully we can rework it this offseason. It's great what he does, but I want to make it even better.
That wide receiver cornerback is phenomenal. I mean, he writes what they ate for breakfast, if it's a dome, if it's outside. He puts every little nuance in those articles, and I love that, Jamie. Keep writing for us, buddy.
Yeah, man. No, Jamie, you're doing fine. We just need to figure out. We talk. We're fine. We'll talk off air. Last one here, Xavier Woods. I believe he was in this one last week.
Yeah, he was.
So I just added his. I opened the last 3 weeks or the last 2 weeks up last week, so now I just added the third.
I feel like I'm cheating the audience a bit, These are all players that we put in that box snap article, but the work is starting to carry over to the waivers, so kind of makes sense. What I want to say here, a lot of sites got this backwards. A lot of people think Jordan Fuller's a DB1. Well, they're going to be wrong when they pull up this thing called math. When you look at it, Jordan Fuller's playing 67% free safety. How many plays is that guy going to really make? 210 out of 312 snaps is deep. When you look at Woods, everything he's doing is in the sweet spot. What I mean by sweet spot, that's slang, Joe, and IDP. They if it's not the slot, it's in the box. Those are the positions that you want your key players in. But he's playing 100% of snaps all the way back since week 1. He's your guy. 31.6% snaps are played in the box, and then the rest are, in limited packages all around the field, slot, strong safety free. He even has a couple packages they put him in defensive line. So you're looking at safety that plays defensive line. This is a crazy world we live in 2024 where you got safeties playing on the defensive line. Go ahead and pick up Woods. You're not going to be disappointed. You can get away with him in a lot of places, and he's absolutely free.
Yeah, I know. Great stuff, man. All right, well, that's it for the IDP waivers and the full set of waivers for Week 14. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. If you're still here, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and jump over to Fantasy Six Pack. Our all access memberships are still on Black Friday sale. Now it's technically Cyber Monday, whatever you want to call it. I just extended the Black Friday deal. 48% off. You get everything with that. All sports, our award-winning rankings, mine, Steve's, everybody else here at Fantasy Six Pack. You get the Discord, which is fantastic. You get to jump into the members-only channels and ask all of your league-specific questions right to us. We've got all the DFS advice, all the betting advice. And then if you play baseball, basketball, hockey, DFS, golf, we've got it. So jump on over, 48% off. The code for that is just Black Friday. Pretty cut and dry. So, Steve, before we go, let everybody know where they can find you, what you got going on.
So this is a bit of a surprise for Joe because Joe doesn't even know this yet. In probably next 2 weeks, this is a Christmas surprise online for you, Joe. I got an article I'm putting together. All the writers that were in the Kings Classic, we're going to do a lessons learned, or we're gonna send that to you. Hopefully you want to get that out. Now, I got all the major writers to want to participate in this. You know, if a guy's 2 and 10, what the hell has he learned? He needs to figure it out.
Man, one of my Kings Classic leagues got absolutely wrecked by injuries, and I'm the 2 and 10 team. So, yeah. There's nothing I could do, man. Me and Keith were like, there's nobody on waivers in that 14-team leagues. They're deep benches. You start 3 flex. There's nobody. It's almost worse than Scat Fishbowl. There's nobody on waivers.
Right.
I got obliterated by injuries in that league. There's nothing I could do.
Jamie can tell you offline. I'm like, Jamie, I need a tight end from 6 weeks from now. What do you got? And he's pulling stuff out. He predicted Juno Smith out of nowhere, Jeremy Nichols. So Jamie's got talent. But yeah, we're doing all the writers, they're gonna give me their blurbs. We're gonna put it together, kind of like we did for the mock draft. We're gonna have that lessons learned, Kings Classic, and I do the box snap article. I really like doing that. I think I got it for this week already together. I do the waivers article, and that's about it. You can follow me on Twitter, IDP Hunter. So check me out over there.
Stuff, man.
And then last but not least, check out Joe Bond's points against chart. I guess you do that every week. Joe Bond Classic. It's the only place I've ever seen they have big 3 scoring, 1, 2, 3 scoring, and Fantasy Pros tackle heavy. You can look at all the matchups, and that's kind of what we're doing for the waivers now. We're trying to predict, who's got the best chance for sacks and what have you.
Yeah, no, that's what it's all about, man. So, all right, well, thanks everybody for tuning in, and good luck getting all your waiver ads this week. Peace.